McFarlane. Welcome to Conversations with Al McFarlane, broadcasting live today from the beautiful facilities of the Minneapolis Urban League. It's the Glover Sudduth Center for Neighborhood and Economic Development, the home of the Minneapolis Urban League. Today and for the next 4 weeks, we'll be doing the live broadcast from here. We invite you, our listeners on KFAI and who are checking us out by web at kfai.org, to join us on the radio. And certainly we invite you to be part of the audience. Come, be in the audience and engage with us, with us in what we call robust conversation. Our mission every week in this program is to have conversations about issues, ideas, problems, challenges, opportunities, the things that make our community a community. And we want to give voice to our own aspirations, our dreams. We want to validate ourselves, and we do that by conversation. We say that this is a place, a platform for robust conversation, and that's what we do. We have serious conversation. We talk about our lives, our feelings, our priorities, and in a way that we believe reflects our dignity and the respect that we have for each other and for life. We're pleased today to have a program that connects on a theme of great importance. All of us are still responding to the tremendous energy associated with the election of Barack Obama. And I'm pleased to have us be joined today by two authors, two educators who organized an effort to give voice to this notion of the importance of what's happening in our country today. Joining me from Buffalo, New York, are the authors of a book entitled Go Tell Michelle, African American Women Write to the New First Lady. This is a book of essays, poems, offerings compiled and edited by my guest, Barbara A. Seals Nevergold and Peggy Brooks Bertram. They're joining me from Buffalo. Good morning. How are you both?
Good morning. Good morning. We're doing well, thank you.
Well, thanking you for what you've done in this book. I'm going to ask you to describe the mission, the purpose of the book, and what people will discover when they purchase the book and begin to read it and treasure its offerings. But before I do that, I want to say that in studio today we have two other people that are equally committed to the arts. One is a new author, a person who I just met moments ago, but she's the author of a book. The book is called The Hood Makes Fresh Water, and the author is Denisa Ulmer. We're going to introduce her in a minute. Denisa, how are you?
I'm fine.
And thank you for being here. And I want to also introduce you to another artist in the community who's responsible for building arts institutions. Dana Munson is a artist associated with the National Theater for Children, and he's here to talk about arts and arts policy, arts opportunity in Minnesota. So we'll do all that in the next few minutes. Dana, good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Okay, great. Let me first go to my authors from Buffalo, New York. Dr. Brooks Bertram, I think that's correct, and and Barbara Seals Nevergold. Talk about the book, Go Tell Michelle. What was the idea? Where did it come from? And what did you present to the market in this book?
Well, Al, the idea came about rather spontaneously, about a week after the election was over. But prior to the election, we had spent, just like so many other African Americans and others, a great deal of time following the election, being very much involved in the election process, and certainly concerned and motivated. What motivated this book were some of the attacks against Michelle Obama, attacks that accused her of being unpatriotic, the cover on the New Yorker magazine that portrayed her as being a terrorist, as being an angry black woman, again, as being an unpatriotic individual. And so, as I said, about a week after the election, I turned to Peggy and I said, Peggy, I have an idea. Why don't we write a book, and why don't we invite other women to join us in sending letters to Michelle Obama that would encourage her, that would support her, and that would show the esteem that she has among African American women, but we know among many women throughout the world.
And so what did you find? You had the conversation between the two of you. What happened then?
Well, we started on this fast track to get this book done. One of the things we knew was that we wanted to do it before January 20th. We wanted to really celebrate who this woman was, and so using technology, we sent out a simple email message to members in our group called the Uncrowned Queens Institute for Research and Education on Women. So we took our monthly newsletter group, we sent it out, and then we asked a friend of ours who runs what we call one of the baddest websites on the internet, and his name is Rudolph Lewis, and he runs the Chicken Bone Journal. And I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I'm not.
But he carried our notices and what have you and requests online, and so women from all over the world heard it, and so we were getting letters right and left, hundreds of letters, and we set a deadline. People had about 2 weeks, 10 days to do their number, and we set the deadline. And even through the Thanksgiving holiday and on Thanksgiving Day itself, women were sending in their letters. And in between the turkey dinner and the dessert, we were still receiving letters to Michelle Obama. And it was an extraordinary venture that there was a network of African American women that we didn't know anything about, that it was a network that crossed the Atlantic, the Pacific, and everywhere you can imagine, and that they were coming together under the auspices of saying something wonderful to this African American woman and sending her these brilliant letters of support.
What were some of the most moving entries? You must have discovered some things that became your own personal favorites. Is there something that really struck you personally, that touched you personally? And is there something that you think reflects or embodies this global spirit of acceptance and appreciation for Michelle Obama?
Well, certainly we had some of the letters, the poem, letter that begins the book called We in Anticipation of You by Arlette Miller Smith, as well as the letter that ends the book by Janine Wilkins called We Are Going With You. We think kind of encapsulated the themes and the messages that women wanted to send to Michelle Obama. One is that, we stand with her, not only now, but we'll be with her throughout, the period of time that she and President Obama are in the White House. But also, I think there were themes that were so universal. As Peggy said, we had women from Africa who were writing, who sees Michelle Obama as a role model who's going to really dispel and refute the negative images that black women have had to deal with for hundreds of years. And, when we look at the media, we're either super women or we're still, portrayed as women who are perhaps less than moral. And so Michelle Obama, raises that image of black women throughout the world. And that was, just one of the many things that women wrote about. And I might also add that we were also impressed that the way the letters and poems were written, that we were able to add an interesting structure. And the structure was to see a letter or a poem, two of which could serve, one that could serve as the first bookend, and the second would be the second bookend. And in between would be all the other materials. And so